Hello, it's Tom Ingram from Big Tom Driving School, and I've got a clip here of Harry doing some rural road driving. This is actually over in sort of Holbeach way, but yesterday he was over in Grantham and working on some country road driving and wanted to do some more today on his Big Tom intensive driving course. And this is one of the beauties about the intensive courses, that you can kind of go across different towns, cities, even counties, and specifically looking at doing some driving training on certain sorts of roads. So if you look at the road that Harry's driving on here at the moment, it's a twisty, turny sort of road. You'd expect this to be a B class, wouldn't you? There's A roads, B roads, unclassified roads. We have motorways, don't we? So they vary in their they vary in the quality, I suppose. The road surface, how well maintained they are, whether they've got lights at night time, cat's eyes in the middle of the road, even possibly or not having a white line in the middle of the road. Curbs on the outer edge, or white lines on the outer edge, or maybe neither. And this is what we should really be expecting to see on these kind of rural roads. It's a case of adapting your driving to the conditions that you find yourself in at the time. So there we have a cyclist, but you could have horses, couldn't you? You could have people walking on country roads. There could be tractors coming out of fairly hidden openings for where the farmland is. Or you may just find yourself driving behind a slow moving vehicle like a tractor and having to deal with that situation when your vision ahead may not be fabulous, and you've got to hold back until you can actually see that it is safe. Those two hazard signs there. So the road is thin, the road is narrowing, and also you've got a bend as well. So bit of a double whammy really there for Harry to deal with, because it affects vision. But one of the things to get out of these country roads is that the signs that you see really do mean something to you. They really can have a consequence to you as a driver. And it's appreciating what these signs potentially do bring. That's the kind of key thing really, because it's not uncommon on these kind of country roads. You see single track roads, don't you? Warnings of single track roads, passing places, and it's kind of managing the situation and driving at a pace that you're comfortable with, but also keeping an eye on making sure that you're actually not a hazard yourself, whereby the pace you're driving is too slow actually for the driving conditions you're in, and consequently people end up having to overtake you because of the pace you're driving. And on these kind of roads, if you look at these situations up ahead that Harry's dealing with, the vision at times is really poor. The last thing really we want is drivers behind overtaking because of a lack of progress, because that in itself is hazardous. What else can we see along these roads that Harry's driving on? There's typically you can get ditches, dikes either side of the road. We've got here telegraph poles. Sometimes there might be hedges or trees which kind of line the side of the road, giving you a bit of a clue as to where the road is going. This particular road around here, as is the case in this region, they tend to be rather flat, but you can find yourself on rural roads which are hilly. And you can, if you look far enough up ahead the road, you can actually start to see little clues as to which way the road is bending. And this was something actually that Harry was specifically practicing in this stretch of road, is how to deal with those kind of country road bends, which is essential driving training, really. I mean, it really is. Being able to drive along comfortably, confidently, competently, dealing with country road bends, whereby the braking for the bend, and the braking and the gear changing is all done prior to the bend itself, so that you've got maximum traction and stability of the vehicle prior to the bend itself, so that we don't end up sliding off of country road bends, which is what can happen if you don't pay any attention to this whatsoever. So Harry's actually practicing the use of looking out for limit points, and limit points are very, very handy to try to identify how severe a country road bend is, because having that knowledge prior to actually getting to the bend will arm him to recognise what kind of speed he should be driving at before the bend. Really, really key stuff, really key stuff. There's nothing quite as well, getting the old ticker going, racing away when you end up taking a country road bend too fast. Very, very unsettling. And so the use of part of the intensive driving courses is giving you the opportunity to practice looking for limit points, seeing if they're moving, and having a corresponding speed and gear for the particular bend. Really, really good stuff. And what he's doing here is he's then transitioning between one mode of driving, country rural roads, over to the faster moving roads. And this is an art in itself, being able to adapt to the different mode of driving. And it can work in many different ways. You could be on a dual carriageway for a length of time, and then you come off the dual carriageway on the slip road and you immediately go into 30s. Or even a motorway, and you come off the motorway and you come into 30s, and you're transitioning between different modes of driving. And you might come off a fast moving road like this into either an industrial estate or maybe a shopping outlet, and find yourself then doing manoeuvres. And these transitions can be quite literally 30 seconds apart, and that takes practice. It just takes practice to be able to do this. Adjusting your pace and your, well, I suppose really it's adapting your mindset as well, so that you can deal with the particular activity, the type of driving that you're going to need to be doing. It may sound really, really simple, all of this. I don't know if it's coming across as, oh well, that's just obvious, but actually it takes practice. It really does, and it's worth doing and spending time practicing on these kind of roads and transitioning between different modes of driving, between town driving, manoeuvres, faster moving roads, including dual carriageways and motorways, and then also the country roads as well for the bends. It's all good stuff. It's really, really worthwhile doing, and it's worth actually planning specific places to go, so that you can then practice. You're doing focused training as opposed to just willy-nilly stuff. I hope this is very helpful to you. Okay, Tom Ingram, Big Tom Driving School.